Salutations, Utopians. Another blockbuster trade happened today, but it's not for the reasons you think. Um, Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles, the Pennsylvania teams, elected to make a trade today, draft pick swap. But something very interesting happened. Kenny Pickett, uh, who started at times last year for the Steelers, was involved in the trade. Now, media wants you to believe that he wasn't cool with Russell Wilson acquisition. When has a young guy ever spoke up and been upset about a veteran being acquired when they've already bombed? I mean, he has 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 81 passer rating. I don't even know where he would get the idea to have a voice in a locker room after the season he had. But I'm going to tell you the real spiel. What's very polarizing about this moment and this trade from Howie Roseman? Yesterday, Mr. Roseman had whether it be a telephonic meeting, in-person walkthrough with former Raven Brett Hundley, who the Ravens got some very off-brand name backup quarterback who's been around for a while but never did really much substantial, to be his backup, Lamar's backup. Hundley is a backup to a 2-time MVP, dual threat quarterback, and has started in playoff game, which, as you know, in the NFL holds a lot of weight. Otherwise, why else would guys like Mason Rudolph just get sent to the Titans? Or because any starting experience matters in the NFL and is valued, right? So watching this all unfold, I see that, that's weird. You're going to waste draft capital to get a backup quarterback with Tyler Huntley on the market? And that's where the bell went off. Why this is problematic is because Kenny Pickett seems harmless until you think about it. They had a picture of him in an Eagles jersey when he was a kid. And, Jalen Hurts is the 3rd highest paid quarterback. They went and signed Saquon Barkley over bringing back DeAndre Swift, who ran for over 1,000, caught over 500 yards, had over 50 catches last year. He's as dual threat gets, and he's from Pennsylvania. So why do you get Saquon Barkley instead, who hasn't been guaranteed to be healthy in a while? You need a bigger name to take the spotlight off of Jalen Hurts. Why do you pass on Tyler Huntley, who's clearly better than Kenny Pickett? Because he's not a bigger name to Jalen Hurts. 3rd highest paid player in the NFL, Jalen Hurts, is being hidden right now in plain sight. They are trying to take the ball out of his hands as much as possible and keep the heat off him, because the last thing you want as an owner to your GM is to say, hey, we spent all this money on this guy and he's not the guy. They're doing everything they can to preserve their image, and Kenny Pickett is the perfect plan. Here's the problem. Kenny Pickett doesn't have an intimidating resume to where people are going to be calling for his name the way they did last year for Mariota when he was going through that bad stretch, Jalen Hurts. There was quiet rumblings, Mariota. Let's admit, Mariota at best is Fitzpatrick right now in the league. He'll give you 4 solid games, and it won't even be Fitzpatrick level, but he'll give you 4 solid games before he starts overthinking and malfunctions. So what do the Eagles do? No thank you, Tyler Huntley. Go somewhere where you have a chance to actually legitimately start, because you have legitimately put in the work to deserve a legit chance somewhere. Give us Kenny Pickett. Well, what do you think? Kenny Pickett starts for Hurts, he's a threat? You got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, say what you want. Kenny Pickett's a better passer than Jalen Hurts if he's playing for his hometown team. Case in point, DeVito with the Giants. That guy has nothing about him that tells you, oh, starting NFL quarterback. But that pride on the line, when you're in your home place, you're going to throw like you've never thrown. It's a little bit extra incentive. It means something, whether people want to admit it or not. And that's exactly what's going on here in Pittsburgh. In Philadelphia. He's not going to create any heat. Everyone on face value, Jalen Hurts is clearly started. The Niners did the exact same thing with Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. We don't want anyone. We have made our decision, even shoulder injury and all at that time with Purdy. We are starting Purdy. We are making him our guy. And if we call ourselves a true contender, we have to get rid of this. We're too important to be arguing over who's the one or the two. You can't be a Super Bowl contender and have a divided locker room over who's your signal caller. That's not a position where there can be confusion. You can do running back by committee. You can have a guy emerge as a star at wide receiver. We watch Puka Nacua take over for Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp comes back and they distribute the ball as good as anyone. And I know Matthew Stafford's an extreme case because he's as good a passer as ever been created out here that there's ever been. But just as an example, San Francisco did that and they went to the Super Bowl. Philadelphia had everything checked last year for the most part and self-destructed, complete sell job, unidentifiable by the time they got to the playoffs. A.J. Brown deactivated in week 1. This is trying to bring stability to this team environment. Howie Roseman is doing everything he can because this is the ceiling. You can't go find an A.J. Brown. He was MVP level. If a wide receiver ever warranted an MVP, it was him last year, statistically. Jalen Hurts, third highest paid player, as I said earlier. There's no wiggle room. This has to work. So going and getting a guy like KP, Kenny Pickett, he's not a threat to Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley is going to take most of the spotlight media attention off of Hurts. A.J. Brown's going to do A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith knows his role. Godaire's there. But now they're getting someone a little bit more of a pocket passer with a better O-line, and they think, hey, we might have our own Baker here. We might have our own flash in the pan. And if he, by any chance, strikes lightning, Kenny Pickett, in the event that he has to spell Jalen Hurts, any of the Hurts enthusiasts from his administration, any of the fans who might have developed a heart for Hurts will get drowned out by the hometown hero. Let that sink in. Very calculated move by Howie Roseman. He's the Sam Presti of the NFL. This guy was groomed for this position. And it's disturbing how calculated he is. Very, very keen, in touch with the game type of guy you want at the front office. He will not lose. He is trying every variation to make all this work. Ownership spending the money. Front office is bringing... he's not just making on paper moves. He's really doing the psychology of all this. Think about that. It's definitely championship or bust time in the Eagles' land. The Eagle has landed, though. And it's either put up or shut up now. All right, Utopians. I'll try to do better next time. Global. Out.